Bean. All right, we're live on all. Do an intro in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When's the last time you heard a podcast that truly did not give a damn about what people thought or said? It's been a while, right? Welcome to No Filter Radio. No Filter Radio. We have freedom of speech. Too bad nobody else uses it. If we think it, we say it. We say it. And we say it how we want. From cultural issues to political issues. As a matter of fact, we cover any issues. Open your ears as we open our huge mouths. This is No Filter Radio, and this is your host, Mark G.
What is happening? No Filter Radio. Check it out. No Filter Radio was created because we'd like to have no filter. As my brother and I were talking about, we have a little bit of a filter tonight because we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Podbean. Kenny Bloom, welcome into the Podbean. Folks, listen up. I'm not sure if we're going to be completely less filtered. We're going to find out. I have a feeling I may get banned off YouTube tonight because I've watched one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to. It's actually a show, Louder with Crowder. And they get banned quite a bit on freaking YouTube because YouTube seems to be even stricter. No, however you want to pronounce it, stricter than fucking Facebook.
How do they get banned? What happens?
They got banned because they were talking about the multitudes that people identify as.
Okay.
But I want to try wording it properly so I don't get
right. Yeah.
So they were talking about that and they got banned. It was quite interesting, but they get banned quite a bit. You know, they talk their beliefs and they get banned. And that seems to be the problem with the world we're living in today. But before we talk about that, everybody, let me welcome welcome Gary to the show, my brother from another mother. And literally, you know, he's been procrastinating quite a bit, getting his podcast out there. I had some of my older equipment shipped out his way to help push him a little bit more to getting out there. Now look at him. He's got a whole setup. Anybody wants to watch the show live, feel free to go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter page, or even find us on TikTok where you can watch us live there. I will be allowing people to call into the show in about an hour in. We'll allow people to come in as call-ins. Kenny Bloom, what is happening? Gary, just so you know, you'll be able to see the comments from social media such as the Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. I'll post the comments on the screen, so you'll see those comments. Unfortunately, the comments in Podbean you won't be able to see, but I'll be able to just kind of pause and read them off to you so you know what people are saying to us on there. Yeah, with all that being said, Gary, how are you doing today?
Doing really good. My dogs are just now freaking out.
I was gonna say, you got somebody breaking right now. Do you need to go like check it?
Apparently someone's trying to break into my house and murder me right now.
Fantastic. So that means we're gonna watch a murder live right now.
It's very possible. You know, I'll be sure to carry my camera with me the entire time.
Yes, please.
But no, I'm good. I'm doing really good, man. I think amidst all the chaos that's been going on the past couple of years, things are good. So
keep checking over that shoulder. You might find a battery trigger.
Just waiting for someone to come in with like a ski mask and a machete, you know?
Right. So interesting fact, when you were asking about the whole TikTok thing and I was telling people like tap their screens and stuff like that. Well, I was doing a battle earlier and I was actually talking to a gentleman about how much hatred there is in this world right now and how the biggest divide that we're having right now is actually created by our own government. Now, man, to say, is there probably outsources such as maybe Russia or China as well? Most definitely probably is. But a lot of the stuff we're seeing right now, as far as the hatred and stuff goes, I believe it's coming from our own government.
I think our government is probably, I don't know if I don't want to say they're involved, right? Like just to not be conspiratorial.
Right.
But like, could be debatable, right? But I would say like, there's a lot of evidence. I think that there's a lot of bots online that are probably from overseas, you know, just to kind of stir things up over here. And that's something that I think has been admitted by people in the military. It's like we're doing the same shit. We have our own type of, propaganda system that we're trying to start in other countries. It's just easier for it to work here because we have freedom of speech. Like we kind of allow it, and it makes it a little more difficult to control,
Well, now you say we kind of allow, but wouldn't you rather agree that we did allow it at one point, and it now seems like our freedom of speech is now being suppressed, especially on social media platforms? Hence the reason why we're trying to tread just lightly on here, so we don't get banned by people like Mark Zuckerberg, or I don't even know the other guy's name. It used to be Jack Dorsey. It's no longer Jack Dorsey. Who owns that?
It doesn't even need to be that person specifically. It's their platforms, and it's the people that are running the platforms and the algorithms and the AI that they have, like checking the content, right? And so there's a lot of errors that are made when it comes to banning certain people, accounts, videos, whatever piece of content is being put out. So it's frustrating because we want to blame these people because these people are responsible for the ecosystem that we're in, right? But eventually, like, Jack stepped down because Twitter's bigger than he could ever be. It got beyond whatever he could have possibly wanted it to be. The same thing with Facebook or Meta and like all of the other programs that are underneath it. Like, it's bigger than Mark Zuckerberg. But these guys, whether they're still hands-on or not, it's like their platforms are making some pretty big mistakes. And I think that and even the White House has even admitted to working with social media. So
to fit a lot of some of the current agenda that's going on right now.
Yeah, exactly. To help drive a certain narrative. And it's like, that's not good for the people.
Right. It's not. It causes a sickening that a lot of people are blind to see. Give me 1 second. Kenny Bloom, I do see your chat. We'll be answering your questions here in the future. Just we're starting out with our own dialogue right now. But yeah, I can completely agree with you on that. And I see it right now with my own family. I mean, I argue with my mother left and right. I tried not to. Matter of fact, it came to the point where I told my mother that, listen, when you and I talk, we're not to talk politics of what's going on. Granted, she still attacks me about getting a certain something, and I keep telling her that I'm not going to because that's my beliefs, and she should accept it. Just like we should accept everybody else's beliefs. We may not agree with it.
For sure.
We may not agree with it, but if that's their belief, then we need to accept it and move on. It's their life. It's not our life.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting and not understanding. Listen, we're living our life our way. You're living your life your way. We can still coexist and get along. We're going to disagree. But in the end of the story, if I was to cut my arm there to cut their arm, we're all bleeding the same color.
Correct.
Unless they're coming from a different world, universe. They may bleed black or something.
Unless you're Elon Musk.
Right? Yes, Elon Musk. There has been Elon Musk being a alien, hasn't there? Hasn't there been conspiracy theories about Elon Musk?
I think he joked about it. He said he was an alien, or he's not an alien anymore, or some shit. But
right.
I mean, technically, we're all, because before we were here, where were we?
Right. Where were we?
And it gets weird. Then it starts to get real weird, right?
It does. So I want to play a video here for you. Give me 1 second. I want to get it shared real quick. Okay. I'm going to see if I can share the screen here so our listeners on YouTube and stuff can see it as well. All right. I'm going to allow that. All right. So I'm going to pull that up. Can you see that video right there?
Sure can.
Fantastic. I'm not sure if you've heard this yet, but when I play this,
copyright, are you going to get in trouble for playing?
I am not. No, actually, you can play up to a minute and a half of any news article without getting in trouble.
Sweet.
I've looked into all the.
All right. Hell yeah.
All right. So I'm going to play this video. It's actually kind of gone viral. I laugh my ass off, but unfortunately, the guy who's done this is now getting death threats. So
he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
No, you're familiar with NORAD, right? What NORAD does for Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, during the NORAD, parents call in to NORAD to check on the status of Santa Claus. And when they do, some people randomly selected to talk to the president.
Okay.
This gentleman and his kids were able to get through to Biden.
How did he do it? First of all, I just want to know the backstory. Fuck. All right. Sorry, play.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry
Thank
Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Now you see, Biden agrees to let's go, Brandon.
Sure did.
Like you heard that, right?
I heard it. He said it.
He said it. It
I
came
don't
from
think he knows what he's agreeing to, but he's he's a nice, naive old man with Alzheimer's, and he's a great guy. I'm sure once upon a time, maybe.
I think there's been reports that people say that he thinks he's Brandon.
Hold on. So that first of all, let's go back to what you said before you played the clip. Dude's getting death threats.
He's getting death threats now because he did that to the president. People are calling him up and threatening him and sending death threats to his email stuff. He is a retired police officer as well.
It's funny. It's so ironic to me, like the things that happen with the progressives, right?
Right.
Why are they threatening this man's life because he made a joke?
Exactly. Why? And that goes down to what we were talking about earlier, the hatred. Like the guy even admitted it was just a joke. I saw an opportunity. I wanted to make people laugh. I did it.
And
It worked.
funny. And that shit's funny. That's funny.
Fucking hilarious. I mean, he literally came through to Biden and was like, Merry Christmas. He was nice, polite, and let's go, Brandon.
So my buddy, I actually had a back and forth real quick with a buddy of mine that I grew up with from Los Angeles. And he's like talking shit about people using the let's go Brandon line joke, whatever.
Right.
Like he's saying that it's unoriginal. And I'm just trying to make a point, like people are just having fun because it just like it was something that was just so ironic that it just turned into something to what it is, right? And it's funny because of that. And he was like genuinely upset, like legitimately upset about people making this joke. And I think it's hilarious.
I mean, it's absolutely hilarious. Like people have used this stuff for years. It doesn't seem like up until the last 5 years when people started getting more offended about every little thing, stuff that we seen when we were like little kids, up until probably, I'd say I didn't start seeing crap like this till maybe I was in my 36. I started seeing stuff like that. Between then, it wasn't this bad.
I want to say after 9/11 is when it started to get kind of heavy. And then I think after the last recession, when we were recovering from that last recession, is when things were like starting to get slipped in real quick and sly, like with all the participation trophies. You know what I mean? Just like it started real soft, like these really little incremental things that didn't really seem like a big deal then, but it's like it just snowballs into what it is, what we're dealing with currently today.
Sure. I could agree with you on that. Yeah. I mean, because after 9/11, that's when we saw a lot more hatred towards the Afghanistans and stuff like that. Anybody in that culture, we saw some hatred coming towards them when it shouldn't have been. I mean, I'll agree. I'm guilty of that when it first happened. And then I had to wake up and realize, and that's what I love about my wife is she's my middle person, right? So she's
your information broker. Like
yes, my information broker. She's the one like sitting there, dear. Okay, you're saying it this way, but think about it for a minute. Sometimes she'll sit there and call me straight. You're a fucking hypocrite. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good.
I'm stubborn. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, I'm stubborn. I'll admit it. There's I live by the old ways. I'm trying to see some of the new stuff, but there's some of the new stuff that to me is just completely ridiculous.
Right. So on that, my coworker has a couple of kids that are, early teenage, late teenage years, and the his, her, them, they, he, him, she, her, whatever. I don't know what they all are.
Right.
For because like for me, I don't really give a shit, right? But like my coworker's a little bit older than me, and so he was like kind of making a comment about it, and like even his kids were just looking at him like, "You're such a what do they call it?" He's like, "You're such a boomer, Dad," and it's like, and he's just like, "What? Fuck you! I'm not a boomer," and like he's like, trying to defend himself or whatever. But it's like the generation, your kids, right? Like this shit's gonna be so normal
Oh,
for them, and that's like it's kind of weird because it's like in terms of a social norm, I don't know. I think it's an interesting experiment to watch play out. It's a fucked up experiment, but it's interesting one.
I agree. Oh yeah, there's been stuff like when I'm talking to my daughters, and my son about it. It's like, what are you talking about? No, I understand. Okay, I understand. Some people like to be identified. I find it hard for me as a person, the way I was raised up, to refer to anybody other than I guess you could say, the gender as I see them. Right?
I'm a part of Camp Two Genders, is the camp that I subscribe to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if somebody's a transgender, whatever, that's fine, great. But like, let's, biologically speaking, I think male and female, there are examples of exceptions, like hermaphroditism or whatever it is. Like that's a real thing. Like it's just rare. It's rare. There are more masculine females and there are more feminine males, but I wouldn't call them a different gender.
Right. And I will let you know, as of right now, this conversation we're ice skating right now.
Oh, are we? Is this getting thin?
We're ice skating right now. This is quite thin ice, but
is
I
it
don't mind playing it because I'm curious.
29 degrees right now. So
right,
it's not too warm. Still just all right. We can back it up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind being on this conversation. The way I'm going to word this right now to everybody out here that's listening on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook is, number one, anything they're hearing within this podcast, neither myself or my brother are doctors, nor do we identify as doctors, nor do we identify as anybody that
I'm a doctor. What are you talking about?
Bullshit.
Kidding.
But everything we're clearly saying is a matter of our own opinion, right? Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And that is the great thing about America. And that is one of the biggest values that we should have, that everybody should embrace. But it seems like we're losing that embracement. Like people are.
Can we source references on here? Like, can we pull up like studies and like?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And if you
like,
send those to me if you can send those references to me and email me to them, I'll add them into the notes of the podcast too, so people can see them. So I got a couple of comments here. Actually, I'm going to go start from the bottom, work my way up top, because the top one's kind of a question. Over here on Podbean Live, someone goes, Justin Trudeau is keeping his eyes open on this podcast. Tisk tisk. Glenn Stinky Dad says, I identify as a doctor and a lawyer. I also identify as unqualified. My pod does say greetings from Canada. And then Kenny Bloom asked both of us a question. Do you guys like Trump, and why or why not? I guess I can start, and then Gary, you can go, because I kind of know where you stand on this borderline. So it'll be a nice, interesting answer for you. Kenny, as far as I'm concerned, yes, I supported Trump during the first run. I was all about it because I didn't want to see Hillary in. All right. So I was all about Trump. I did not want Hillary in. Just like during this election, when people voted for Biden because they didn't want to see Trump win, right? This is the worst way to vote in American history, because when you're voting for somebody that you still don't like, but you're voting for them because you don't like the other person, knowing that the other person would still be greater good for America, but you're not doing it because of the simple reason of your feeling. Now, I will admit, I never did like Hillary, so I was never ever going to vote for Hillary. But Trump was my only option. And the reason why, this is why I hate the voting system in America. I actually would have voted for Jo Jorgensen. She was actually my second option. As for this election, I voted for Trump as my main, because obviously I knew it was either going to be a Republican or a Democrat that wins. It always happens in America. You barely ever see an independent or anybody in other categories win. It's always a Republican and Democrat, which is sad. So regardless, yes, I would vote for Trump. And coming up to this next election, if it was Trump or Biden, I'd be voting for Trump. And hopefully, I think a lot of other people are starting to wake up and seeing where this administration is taking our country right now. And I think they are turning back over, saying, fuck, We screwed up. We should have kept going for Trump. I've seen the numbers coming from Fox CNN and stuff like that. Biden's numbers actually just dropped underneath Kamala Harris.
Unimaginable.
Right. But we're going to move over to you, Gary. Do you like Trump, and why or why not?
I don't. Trump is a complicated bag of. Is a very complicated, messy bag. I definitely liked his. I like how he greeted Taiwan as a country. I like how he had the balls to go to North Korea. I like how he broke the system kind of in a way where he just kept calling the media out for the bullshit that it is. He's raw and unfiltered, and I think he's a fucking psychopath. But with that being said, I think some of those characteristics are essential to the type of leadership required to run a fucking nation of 350 million people that happens to be a superpower and a massive economy on the planet. So I think you have to be a little off to run that ship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so was he my choice? Nah, he wasn't. I'd like to see somebody who's a little more like presidential in there. But once he was in there and I saw some of the stuff he was doing, I could get behind it. I didn't personally give a shit about the mean tweets and whatever. I thought it was kind of funny, unpresidential, but fucking hilarious.
Right.
If he runs again, he's not getting my vote. No, I'd like to see someone else in the Conservative Party. I'm curious to see, not that he gets any of my votes or my supports, but I'm curious to see what kind of bullshit Andrew Yang is up to, trying to introduce a third party, whatever the fuck that means. Right. But I think that there's some pretty interesting things happening within politics. The system, I think, is a little bit corrupt and broken right now, and it's unfortunate. It'll be, if the elections aren't being stolen, it'll be interesting to see how things can be made more transparent and maybe more secure and less prone to error.
Okay.
But with that being said, like, Trump doesn't get my vote. I liked what he did with the respect to Taiwan. He had the balls to do things that a lot of people didn't. The economy was great. The economy is great.
It's fantastic. Matter of fact, my pod, the guy from Canada here, says Canadian here, outside looking in, but I will put him up there with JFK regarding the love for the U.S. people and no wars in 4 years.
I agree with that. I don't think he was racist. I don't think he was racist. I think he was crude as fuck. I think grab him by the pussy comment was hilarious. I think it was locker room banter. I think it was taken out of context. You go into any locker room with a bunch of dudes that are fucking lifting, or they got big money, they think they got big dicks, they're all going to talk like that.
Right, you're going to hear that talk. And the sad part is
that's just ego, that's banter.
It is. And the sad part is that when that happened, when all that came out, remember the media was saying it, oh, no one ever talks like that in the locker room.
That's horseshit.
I like to know what locker rooms they were in where they never heard about that. I know in locker rooms in high school, we were talking like, hell, I think we were talking worse than that.
Yeah, it's just, that's banter. That's a bunch of dudes being dudes. And then you throw a bunch of beer and cocaine in the mix, and it gets a lot crazier.
Right. I would agree with that. My pod says he is a man, no transgender bullshit. Also, look at his kids, all established and successful. I would agree with that 100%. They all are established and successful.
Biden's kids are stellar too, though.
Yeah, they are. I know all their
Hunter's fantastic. He's
Hunter's just fucking
grade A celebrity, phenomenal.
Yeah, Hunter's just he's the ape. He's what you want your children to be, right?
He's an apex predator. Yes, that is exactly what you want your. Oh wait, different type of predator, right? We're not.
We're
Nice
not-
again.
I don't
Is
know.
it
For
31 degrees now? Is it getting
It might be 31.
31 now? I'll step it down.
My pod just said Hunter and Paris Hilton should hook up, in my opinion.
That'd be an interesting
That would
adult
be a
film.
very interesting. Speaking of Paris Hilton, do you remember way back when her cell phone got hacked when she was through T-Mobile? Remember when that was a big thing?
Was it like a bunch of nudies on there?
There was a bunch
Is that
of
like the
news,
beginning of her porn career?
well, I just remember when the kid pointed this, I started laughing because that's when I was doing my online. But before TikTok or podcast was ever invented, you used to have online radio stations, right? You would record stuff through. I can't remember the platform, but you'd have like this online radio station, and I used to do one of those, and we were calling the numbers because they released contacts from her numbers of celebrities. There
Shut
was
the fuck up.
yeah,
dude.
there's like Whoopi Goldberg and stuff like that. All their numbers were in Paris Hilton's phone and stuff.
What?
So like we were sitting there prank calling these fucking people, just
That's
having a
hilarious.
blast. I think I only got through like 3 or 4 numbers because by the time I got to it, it's
It was
already been blasted throughout the internet. So everybody, but it was still fucking hilarious when all that went down.
Crank Yankers.
Right? Oh,
That show was
That's what
dope.
Jerky Boys.
Oh, Jerky Boys. Yeah. They were
Yeah.
the original, right? Were they
They
like
were the
one of
original.
originals?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sal Rizzo.
Man. This is so good.
Dude, that was the shit back in the cassette days. Dad, I want the friggin' Jerky Boys tape. Now these days, these kids have no clue what a tape is. My daughter, I failed at parenting. I it was not too long ago. I think it was like
Can
maybe-
they pass the rotary phone test?
I highly doubt it. If I can find my hands on a rotary phone, I will record that shit and post
Dude, just
it.
go to a Salvation Army. There's got to be one, a broken one. It doesn't need to work. You just
I
need
know.
to, it's a wall piece,
Right? It is a wall.
garage sales or some shit. You can find one for sure.
That would be hilarious. Like my daughter didn't. I failed because my daughter didn't know what a can opener worked. How a can opener worked. Yeah, I failed.
Did she like a handheld one or like the kind that you plug
Like
in?
the one that you kind of plug in, it sits on the counter.
So okay, so there's a couple of those. Is it like the one you slide the can into and you got to kind of like get it in there right for it to lock in proper?
You just lift it up, put the can in, close it down, it cracks into the top of the can.
Oh wow,
and
that's
then
an easy
there's-
one.
It's
That's an
fucking
easy
simple,
one.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Like it's kindergarten grade type of shit.
Because I remember the one that I had, you had to like get it in there right, and it was weird. Like when you got it in there right, it would sit and the can would just rotate, and you'd be like, "Hell yeah!" But
Right.
get it to grab. I mean, I was 7. I don't know if that has anything to do with why it was so difficult, but
Right.
that's what I remember it being very difficult.
There's so much change since we've been kids, right? You were talking about earlier about the metaverse. So it's funny is I was like listening to Joe Rogan the other night when I was working, and they were talking about he's interviewing a guy talking about
And
the
he was
metaverse.
confused as fuck, huh?
Right, this guy's I guess he streams all the time on YouTube and does his metaverse, and him and his buddies just get around every night and they sit around, they play pool, smoke real life joints, whatever, getting high, and they just sit around, shoot the shit, play pool, go travel, go to the spacecraft out in space. Whatever. I was like, screw it. I've got this freaking VR headset that I bought that I barely use because I never have time in my life to fucking use shit, right? So today I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in there. I'm just now recently getting over the fucking headache from the VR headset. But
Really?
number one, yeah, that was like some of the coolest shit. Like I went to, I think it was the Smithsonian. I was in and browsing around the Smithsonian, and the fucking shit was pretty tight. I went into
Mark has a whole VR set, right?
Little Mark. Yes, he does. He has the whole VR set himself too. He's got the same one that I
You have
got.
your own. You have your own VR set.
I do have my own VR
Oh,
set.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I got my own as well. I bought mine probably, I'd say about 6 months ago. I've had it. I just barely used it. Like I said, I haven't had time. When I bought it, that's when all that shit happened in my company, and I just.
Oh yeah. Huh.
But so I went into the metaverse. Very interesting. Very interesting. Like I tried playing the video games. Video games made me feel really fucking oozy. Like you're trying to play the shoot one and try when you're sitting still and you're using your fingers, you're moving forward, dude. Your fucking body's like, whoa, what the? It's like this bad vertigo. It's like, holy shit.
You want to move forward.
You want to move, right? Your body's like, why? We should be moving. Why
Have
aren't
you
you?
seen the one where it's like you stand, you have this like ring around you, and you're standing on that like like a smooth cone thing, and you're in your socks or whatever, and like you're running, and you
I
get
have
stuck
seen
and
that,
shit.
yep.
That looks pretty gnarly. I'll be kind of honest. I'm not a big video game guy, but I got shitty knees, but I would be very inclined to play that game.
Right. I mean, no,
Whatever it is. Like if
Right.
it's involving running, I'm gonna be slow and I'm gonna hurt myself. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
so, but we were talking about like metaverse property and stuff. Like, I saw it today.
Oh, okay. So you
I
saw
actually-
the properties, like you
I
saw
saw
how they are.
right.
No
So-
shit. Okay.
When you go through the world, you come
How much
through.
is property? What's cheap property? Can we buy property?
You could buy property, so and you could
That
sell
was-
property and actually make money off the property. Okay,
I just
so
want to buy some property. How much? What's cheap property? $5,000? Is that a property?
no, it's a lot cheaper than that.
Really?
so
So,
when you
five
go-
grand would get me like property in the
$5,000 would
Netherlands?
get you quite a bit of apartments.
What?
So basically, when you go into this world, right, you got the streets, and in these streets, you got these little condominiums. And every time someone buys property, the condominium keeps going up and up and up. Like you looking up, and the fucking condominiums are freaking sky high. So, okay, I'm gonna go in there. They give you 500 credits to start off with when you go in. So I'm like, oh, 500 credits. I can buy myself a little 1-bedroom studio, right? You need at least $40 to buy yourself your standard entry level studio.
That's
apartment.
dope.
Okay.
That's dope. $40.
Yeah,
and you can have
40 bucks buys yourself a little studio in the
So
metaverse.
$5,000 will be a good. But there's
Oh, $5,000, dude,
$4
you could probably
million
make
dollars to
like
buy
$5
property though. So what's $5,000 when people are spending $4 million to live near Big Pimp Snoop?
Right. So yeah, exactly. I think these
How do I
guys.
live near Snoop for $5,000? What can I
That-
get near Snoop?
So that's in the sandbox, right? So this is what I was in.
I own Sandbox shares. That's where I want to go.
I have not found the sandbox yet. I'm not sure if that's another download or anything. I'll have to look
It's on
into that.
Gemini. Oh, the shares are on Gemini. I don't know where the Sandbox is, but I want to go there and I want to kick it with Snoop
You want to go down there and kick it with Snoop?
for sure. I
Poke
want
virtual?
like I know I can't get property for $5,000 there. I would like to.
Not at all.
Not at all, right? Like the Sandbox is like the big one, right? Like that's a real one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what that's at because I don't know.
I don't
so
know.
that should be on the quest.
Anybody knows how to get to the Sandbox? Let us know because
Yes,
I wanna
please.
go. I just want to go. I want to
So
see.
yeah,
like,
anybody knows how we can play on the sandbox out here in TikTok, Spotify, et cetera, et cetera.
sure.
Please let us know. We'd like to know how to how do we get on sandbox? How do we play sandbox?
I don't know, but I want to buy Metaverse land
You want to buy Metaverse and go chill with Snoop. So
somewhere. I got $5,000. I'll throw $5,000 into Metaverse money land.
So listen to this Joe Rogan podcast. So it's quite interesting. So they're talking about, I guess, the glasses that Google and Apple are coming out with.
Okay.
So
Augmented AR.
Yes, augmented AR, and you're going to be able to change how people look.
I'm down. Let's go.
Right. So you're going to be able to change how people look.
It's gonna be weird as fuck.
It's going to be extremely fucking weird.
Okay.
And they reminded me of the movie. They were talking about the movie as well. I can't remember.
What movie?
That's what I'm trying to remember right now, the name of the movie. It was all about virtual reality. Like these people lived in the slums of fucking apartments. Like, dude, the apartments were falling apart, but they are all in a VR virtual reality world. They didn't work. They didn't do nothing. They just lived there,
Really?
right? I think that's where, and they're talking about how they think we're coming to. I believe that's where we're heading.
I mean, we're yeah.
I mean, we're
Hopefully,
kind of already there. I mean, everybody's got one of these, right?
Yeah.
And almost everybody's faces are glued into this for at least 8 hours a day.
Yep.
I would say, like, I mean, some people, maybe like you, I don't think you're glued in that long. You may be.
No, not 8 hours.
But majority of people,
Quite a bit because I'm looking at my stocks a lot.
right, 6 to 8 hours a day, people glued into their phones. I'm guilty of it. I mean,
From phone calls to the gram to other to TikTok to fucking searching shit.
right.
Making
I mean, when you're on the shitter, do you just sit there and stare at the wall, and do you grab your phone?
I forgot my phone or like a couple days ago, and that was the fastest shit I had in a minute. I just get this job done and get the fuck out.
Right? Like, you go take a shit. Your phone's with you now because you're browsing your phone. I mean, we've sat there and
rolling for 3 minutes mindlessly.
Well,
right?
we've sat there numerous times. Had to tell our teenagers, listen, Stop bringing your fucking phone into the bathroom.
Right.
I can sit there. My children get lost in there for 20 to 30 fucking minutes. You're pounding the door. Get the fuck out.
Drop your deuce. Get
Right?
out.
Do you do that? We've got a line. People got to piss. People got to shit. Let's go.
You have a small army at your house. You have one bathroom.
I got one bathroom for everybody in my house.
So that's like the first big project is you need to find where a second bathroom goes.
Basement.
That
I
is
look
a
at it.
terrible place for a bathroom. I mean, it's a great
That's the
place.
only place.
You can't add a bathroom somewhere.
I have no room. This house we bought is
No,
like
add like you add. So if your house is this big, you add a bathroom. Like you can't add a room.
No, not the way the property's set up. Not the way the house is built.
Like what if you go into the backyard? What's near the door to the backyard? Is that like your washer and dryer?
So right. So the washer and dryer is actually in our bathroom.
Oh.
So yeah.
There goes that idea.
Right. So like they'd have to walk through the bathroom to get to the other bath. That ain't gonna work.
That's
I mean-
irrelevant. Yeah.
I mean, we got this closet upstairs. You could kind of gut out that closet and make that a bathroom. Then that implies quite a bit of plumbing to do. Versus you can go to the basement, build a wall down there like my buddy Mike did over at his place. Build this wall around, and build the bathroom, build one of those. Get the
how
super.
big is your basement?
Oh, my basement is the whole size of my house.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite big.
Make it like a badass bathroom.
Oh, I can make a badass bathroom in a studio because my wife's listening right now. You know, I've always told I was going to think about turning my basement into a studio.
Do it.
Right. Yeah, the good old wifey is in here tuning in tonight. So hello, wifey.
She hates me. I'm just like, yeah, it's a great idea. Throw a bunch of money at it. Do it. To everything.
Small Town was asking what this is about. Small Town, we're just talking about a lot of stuff right now. Megan, welcome to the show. The wife just left a bill account. I thought for sure she was just going to text me and say, there ain't no studio going in the basement. I've already told the teenagers too.
Be hilarious. That would be
I just told the older ones too not too long ago. I said, when one of you guys move out, your bedroom's becoming dad's studio. Dad needs a recording studio.
no doubt.
I can't keep doing the studio in my dining room / kitchen.
No, I mean you can, but it's better in a room.
Right? It's better in a room. I can create an atmosphere and eventually invite people over for the podcast.
Facts.
You're like, hey, fuck this virtual shit. Come on over. Let's have a couple of beers and just shoot the shit and have fun.
Right.
I mean, look at this right now. We've just been shooting the shit. It's been already 37 minutes. I haven't even got to my second video yet.
Oh yeah. What is that, by the way?
So
First
this
one, I
one,
already forgot what the first one was. What was that?
the first one was about the guy that said, let's go, Brandon,
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
who's been getting death threats.
That shit's still weird to me.
It's extremely weird. But it
Makes
just goes
sense.
boiling back to what we're talking about, how there's so much hatred in the world and so much divide over stupid shit.
Right.
Like no one cares. So this next one I'm going to pull up. Let me get to the video here. This one is actually on Twitter. I'm going to pause it. Hold on. It's on Twitter from ATL Uncensored Atlanta News. I'm going to go ahead and do the share screen here for those who are listening and watching on Facebook. We do have somebody in here watching. They just haven't commented anything.
That's all right.
So I'm going to go to share screen. Go to, uh-oh. 1 second. Must be this one. All right. Yeah. There we go. So we're going to allow it. Okay. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you seen this one?
I think so.
All right, we're going to go ahead and play it. It's 1 minute and 51 seconds long. To all of our viewers, you can find this. If you go on Twitter and look up ATL Uncensored, you'll find this video. It's literally Delta flight from Tampa to Atlanta. Got crazy. This lady goes freaking bonkers. If you need me to pause it so you can kind of commentate on it, just let me know and I'll pause it. All right, you ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
You're
so you fucking
absolutely right.
asshole. Who invited you to come
I'm hating that I can
drink your ass up?
You want me
Don't
to
you dare
pour this
talk to
over
me
your
like
head?
that.
God damn it.
You
I'll
stand,
talk to you
stand,
any
you
fucking
step
way I
up.
want to.
Stand your ass up. Stand your ass up.
Sit down, Karen.
Karen?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Sit down there, see?
Listen, no, you're the pussy.
Oh, no, you're the dick.
He's not helping though. He's
Oh
not.
no,
helping.
he's definitely not helping. He's so
But he is being attacked. So fuck that bitch.
so.
Seriously, man.
Before I can continue, I found out some information about her. She's a former cheerleader for the Raiders. She's also a former Playboy bunny.
Okay.
Let's continue.
What about him?
Pretty loud.
Mascot. Mascot.
I think the loudness is coming from
It's
the
the
air.
jet. Yeah.
Yeah, the jet. So that kind of has you kind of have to like lay ears.
Yeah. I'm trying to hear her, but it's like that. It's all right. Play it. It's all right.
Yeah, I know the jet's insane. I can't fix that, Gary.
No, I know. It's all good.
Tell him
You
to
got your
mascot.
mask down, bitch.
Sir.
Yes, I did.
You saw the slap, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotta keep playing.
God damn.
You're going to jail. As soon as we get Atlanta, you're going to jail. Bitch. Karen. Hey, spit on me.
You saw that, right? She just literally spit in
God,
her fucking face.
she is out of her fucking mind right
Fucking
now.
lunatic, right?
She's out of her mind. So she's like, keep going. She's off her meds for sure. Like there's something going on there. That's
Now you're double going to jail. Bitch.
I got to give credit to the flight attendant right now. You see him? I think he literally grabbed that cart on purpose. He's using that cart to kind of push her away
it's a
from.
barrier. Yeah.
Yeah, he's using it to get her away from him.
You fucking piece of shit.
Piece of pussy, sit down, Karen.
You fucking
Sit down, Karen. Sit down, pussy.
That guy.
guy-
His wife is like, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
I get it. He's being attacked. She spit in his face. She fucking slapped him. He has every right to be pissed the fuck off.
Man.
But he's got to learn. All right, listen, this needs to de-escalate. We're in the fucking air. We're thousands of miles in the air. We just need to shut the fuck up and it'll get done.
Oh my god.
They can play it.
You punched me.
Put your fucking mask on. Tell him to put his mask on. Put your fucking mask on.
She scratched my face. I wanted to fuck
Put
out
your
of here.
fucking mask on. Put your fucking mask
Put
on.
yours on, bitch.
I will put my mask on. I will put my mask on when you put your mask on.
Jeez.
There she goes. She was later, once they went to the ground, she was greeted by the good old FBI. Who
I would
took-
imagine. But like, so when I see these things, I want to talk so much shit, you know what I mean? But I
Right.
have to like, it's because it gets the emotions involved. It's hard to step back, right? But
Right.
like that, there's a lot of story we don't know that took place before that video even started, right? So it's like there was something that got to that point, right? Which we don't know. But like that woman is having a bad day.
Right.
She's having a bad day. She's off her meds. Something must have. Still needs to be responsible for her actions. You know what I mean? I'm not saying what she did was fine. But that's not normal behavior.
It's not at
Right.
all.
So like what happens? Like what was it that made her lose her shit?
Right. There's something obviously, yeah, like you said, she was either A, having a bad day, B,
Yeah.
something happened in her life that fucking triggered her to be this emotional.
Yeah.
Or C, and I hate to say it, she's starting to be like my mom, going to this hardcore leftist that literally just thinks that the world is going to end if someone ain't wearing a mask.
Yeah, but does your mom wear her mask?
Yes.
So at least she practices what she's preaching. This woman
She's-
wasn't wearing
No,
it.
no, she wasn't. Matter of fact, we have a comic down here from Megan, who's been on the show a few times. Logic, I'll put mine on when you put yours on.
I was just gonna say that. That's the whole
No.
thing. She tried to use her own mask as a bargaining tool, and it's like,
right.
that's weird. It's just like there's something amiss with that behavior. Like I can't imagine what happened to.
I couldn't imagine having that much hatred.
So,
I don't-
well,
someone asked me to put on a mask. I've never been asked, number one, except for if I've been in this. And if I have one in my pocket, I will put one on. I mean, if they ask nicely and it's like a store rep,
If
sure.
I'm inside Kroger, go fuck yourself. If
Right.
I'm inside like a small mom and pop, sure.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm in wall hell, screw you.
No.
No. I'm coming in, I'm doing my shopping, I'm coming out.
If I'm
I'm
at
taking a chance myself.
Debbie's Bakery and Debbie wants me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask.
Small town. Let me find out if he's ready for me yet. So I've got somebody asking if they can call in. You down to start taking in callers?
Yeah. Rock with it.
All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead, small town. Go ahead and call in. We'll bring you in. For a record, anybody's listening right now on Spotify, Apple, and so forth. We are doing a live show recording that this will be uploaded as is with unedited. So we are broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitch. YouTube.
What? I've been talking all this shit and we're not editing any of it out?
Fuck no, dude. This is raw. That's why with no filter radio. I'm waiting. Let me go ahead and invite Small Town in. Going ahead and invite Small Town. It looks like Kenny Bloom wants to call in as well. Wow. All right, Kenny, sure. We'll have you come in right after we take the call in with Small Town. Want to see what they have to say. So we're bringing a Small Town right now. So yeah, I mean, it's just insane.
Is this a repeat? Is this a returning guest?
No, actually, this is a first time guest. I've never seen Small Town within our show before. So this should be quite interesting. Small Town's now a speaker. Small Town, welcome in.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Masks?
We're actually just talking about everything. We've been just throughout the whole show talking about whatever we can really talk about. And we just recently played the video of the lady there that went crazy on the airplane.
Did you hear about that? The lady that spit
we should
in
go
some guy's
crazy.
face.
What's that? You don't think she was crazy?
No, I said I don't think we should go crazy.
Yeah, we agree. No one should be really going crazy whether someone's wearing one or not. But we're just playing the video where she literally went crazy on an older gentleman, spit in his face and slapped him because he wasn't wearing a mask.
That's disgusting.
It's
Yeah.
extremely
It
disgusting.
was in the middle of a flight.
Yeah, right up in the middle there. They're probably how many thousands feet in the air when she decided to flip out on him.
Yeah, that's totally not okay.
Yeah, no, so that's what we're talking about. And you know, my brother and I are both firm believers. The way you want to live your life is your life, right?
Exactly. But you don't spit on somebody.
No, not at all. If you can have disagreements with people, because that's what makes everybody unique.
Exactly. That's life.
Right. But the only thing we're seeing right now happen in our country really is there's so much hatred and so much divide. And I believe that it's caused right now through our government.
Yes.
My brother.
Not only through government, it's through individual choice too.
Right.
So when you're making a choice to do that, you're just either a good human or you're a bad human.
Right, exactly. So Richie down here in the chat says she wasn't wearing one either, which Richie, hers was pulled right down off her face. You're correct. Also, stupid can't. She's a playboy. Right, Richie. I actually mentioned that at the beginning, Richie, before we play the video. I did find out that she was an ex-Raiders cheerleader as well as a Playboy bunny or Playboy model. I believe Kenny Bloom wanted to come into the show, so we're going to go ahead and bring Kenny Bloom in. I don't know what happened to the lady that was just in here. She kind of disappeared. Kenny Bloom, we'll go ahead and bring you in now. See what you have to say. All right, Kenny, you've been invited in. Come on in. Anybody's looking on TikTok, feel free to send me a guest request. When we're able to, we'll bring you in as well. I'm kind of bringing everybody in one at a time. So this way here, we're not flooding the channel with people speaking.
Yeah. Kenny?
Kenny is not in as of yet.
Okay.
Oh, he says, never mind. I'm shy. I don't think he was thought
Oh,
we were going
good.
to bring him in.
Oh, good.
No,
He's like, what? I ain't talking. Fuck you guys.
right. You kind of remind me of my brother right now, who kept putting off bringing excuse after excuse after excuse to start
I
talking.
can. Hey, you keep talking shit. I'll come up with a few more too.
Bullshit. I'll figure out another way to get you on. I ain't got the equipment. Sure thing. Let me send you the box that you need.
Yeah. I guess I need a ring light. I need a backdrop. I need a new chair. This
Well, the
gaming
backdrop-
tower is a couple of years old now, so I probably need something a little faster to like stream with. I mean,
So Megan H is asking thoughts on Kim Potter.
don't know anything about.
Yeah, Megan, if you want to call in and let it elaborate here, I don't know what you're talking about right now. If you talk about it, it may ring a bell. But just the name alone is not ringing a bell. When you say Kim
Absolutely.
Potter, I think of Harry Potter,
I did not know Harry had a sister.
right? I did not know Harry had a sister. Now we're
Bold
gonna
of me to assume the gender of Kim Potter. I'm sorry.
small time. We'll bring you in again here shortly. Right now we're bringing in Megan. Megan,
So-
welcome back.
Hey, how are you?
Good, yourself?
I'm good. I'm surprised you don't know who Kim Potter is. to
I
be
do not.
honest. So she was an officer. She has since been
okay.
convicted.
You can stop right there. I already know what you're talking about. She's the one that's been convicted, found guilty because she said she was grabbing for her taser. Instead,
Yes,
she grabbed
there you
her
go.
her police issued firearm and shot and killed a colored gentleman dead.
Dante
So
Wright.
it's-
Yes.
So what's the question? So what's the question? Sorry.
She was wondering what our thoughts
Is
were
what your
on there.
thoughts
So,
are.
Man,
So
I
you-
wish I
On the
wish I
outcome.
knew more about it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think justice was served. I really do.
What was the outcome? What happened?
So she was proven guilty for manslaughter.
Okay.
The deal was
Yeah.
she was at a traffic stop. Dante was, being an asshole. Leave it as that. He was being an asshole within the vehicle, refusing orders. But when
He
it came
wasn't
time,
complying.
right, he wasn't complying to her. So when it came time for her to start issuing force, she was saying, in her words, she was going to grab for her taser. But instead of her grabbing her taser, which is obviously, I think tasers on their left, firearms on the right. So when she went to grab for her taser, she grabbed her firearm instead.
Is she a rookie? Is she a rookie?
No, she's been
No.
on the force for a while. She's been on the force for at least, I want to say 13 plus
I
years.
think it was 17.
Was it 17
13 to
years?
17, something like that.
If it was like year one rookie, there might be some sympathy. But
No.
after a decade, it's like, come on, you don't know where your taser is.
Well, the sad part is too, I was just watching a video on Rumble of another situation. This one, I believe, was a rookie cop. There, once again, is another traffic stop over a seatbelt violation. And mind you, the gentleman that was commentating on this video was a black individual as well. So for anybody who's listening to this podcast right now, watch me. I'm far beyond racist, but
You racist
like
son
her.
of a bitch.
I can only refer to people as their color, right? I'm white, and this person was black that was in the
Doesn't
vehicle.
even need to be there. But either way.
There was also a black officer and a white female officer.
Okay.
During a traffic stop, the gentleman in the car started giving him shit.
Hmm.
Once again, people, you get pulled over by a cop, you should be complying with the cop's orders.
Yeah.
Give them everything they need. Your license, your registration, be on your merry fucking way. This gentleman did not want to do that. So in the middle of it, he decided to grab the officer that was questioning him by a headlock, come out of the car. They started wrestling. He had the officer in a headlock, body slams the officer to the ground. The female officer comes around through the car when she could have came over literally and thrown a couple blows to his face because there was no weapon involved at this time. Right now it's physical force.
Okay. What was the stop for again? What's the stop for?
Seatbelt violation.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, and when that happened, she should have came around and just kept throwing a couple of cold costs to his face to see if she could disarm the criminal that way. Instead, she brought out her firearm and popped one off into his back.
Good God.
While he's on top of her partner.
So did she fuck her partner up too?
She did not fuck her partner up. She surprisingly missed. The bullet did not go all the way through, which is shocking. It did not go all
That
the
to
way
me
through. It
is
stopped,
weird.
right?
So,
She could have, number one, either A, came through a couple fists at him, or B, she could have sat there and pulled out her taser as well and tased the suspect.
man, I mean, these
You were both
situations,
wrong. Potter was an officer for 26 years.
Oh, shit. Okay.
26 years. So that's a long time.
That's a very long fucking time.
26-year police veteran. I just looked it up because I was curious.
Man,
So there's literally no excuse whatsoever.
yeah,
fine.
He
that's,
joined the department in 1995, literally the year after I was born.
That's insane.
yeah, that's a wild case. That's
Right.
so I can only like it's the same thing like with that lady in the airplane and like when this shit's going down, like what is it that's going through the head at the moment like these things are happening, you know? Like as 25 years, right? 1995, right? 25 years. So 25-year
20, she just hit her 26th year.
Okay, so that's like that's a lifetime for some people.
Right.
And so it's like what happened to has she's obviously been in like other situations that escalated, right? Like I'm just like I can't understand grabbing the wrong device when you're seasoned at your sport or you're
Yes,
you know,
I don't understand. And in the body cam footage, which I watched, she can be heard yelling taser multiple times before she fires her handgun. And then she screams, "Holy shit, I just shot him. I just shot him. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean
So
to."
did she just like rearrange her belt like that week or something? You know what I mean? Like how they all
No, they were
gear? Like is it all
the,
new gear?
the
Like
department has a standard of what side your weapons need to be on. So it's not like
and
you
it's
can
not a
pick
new
one
standard,
way,
right?
like,
Not a new
I'm
standard.
going to put my taser on the right side today.
I'm gonna look while you guys sitting there talking. I'm just looking.
Yeah,
for
that's unfortunate. I mean, that's a
She was convicted of first and second degree manslaughter, and she will be sentenced February 18th. And she's facing up to 15 years in prison because it was her first crime. It's the guidelines recommend roughly between 6 to 8.5 years per charge, and they can be served at the same time. So she'll likely only be in prison for a maximum of like 8.5 years with,
good time.
with, if she does well in prison, which she'll spend a majority of that probably in solitary confinement because she was an officer.
Now I have a question.
26 years on the service.
I'm
She
not sure.
probably put a lot of those people in prison.
Oh yeah, she's gonna have a good time in there for sure.
Right.
But I do have a question. I don't even know if it's an information that's even known about the person that she shot. Right. So it was a seatbelt violation, or is that a different one? That's a different.
No.
So what was this guy getting pulled over for? What was this?
His was expired tags, and a hanging, what is it? Like those scent things, like in Minnesota, you're not supposed to have,
So that's a bullshit one. Okay. So tags is a real thing. Anything hanging from your mirror, that's them fishing for something. So
and then when they pulled him over, they realized that he had an outstanding warrant.
That's my.
And then when they went to try to arrest him for the warrant is when he started resisting.
Got it. Okay. So there's like, that's what I'm saying. These things are complicated, right? So it's like that guy had a history. Was the warrant for a violent crime? You know what I mean? Like, is this a guy that if you pull it up, does it say this guy beat the fuck out of his wife multiple times? Because maybe that'll affect a split second decision.
So what I'm gonna do?
I don't know. I really don't know.
His warrant, from what I can see, let's see.
Like I'm not even saying that it even matters. I'm just saying, like, you kill someone, that's it. But I'm just saying there's a lot of variables that affect things, and people, I don't think, try to give weight to certain variables, which I think sometimes can be unfortunate.
I think TikTok might have banned me.
That's okay. Like there was a bus driver, or no, I'm sorry, a big rig driver that was recently sentenced, or I don't know if this was recent, maybe like fairly recent, few years perhaps. He was driving, he was overweight, the brakes failed, and he smashed into the back of some cars and killed some people. And like Like it was a mechanical failure. Like the guy was overweight and he was being negligent, but ultimately it was a mechanical failure. And he ended up getting like 150 years or some shit.
Wasn't
And
that
then
a kid though?
I
No, he
don't-
was a kid.
no,
wasn't
there was a man. It was a man. And then there's like another one of somebody who like straight up killed somebody and got 8 years. And it's like, come on. Like one of these things was like maybe there was some negligence in like being overweight on your load, but like trying to make an example out of somebody like that versus somebody intentionally killing a motherfucker and then not really getting an example made out of them. I just
So
feel like
the
those-
warrant was for a gross misdemeanor weapons charge. He carried a handgun into a public place without a state permit,
All right, what I've got here,
but he didn't shoot anyone.
I
Right.
pulled the
He
video.
just brandished it.
So
Right.
yeah, so I mean that would affect a decision, especially if you're an officer going into that knowing that this guy brandishes firearms for sure.
Yeah, of
That
course.
would
Because then, of course, their concern is heightened. Does he have a weapon? Is it concealed? Is it in the vehicle? Is it on his body?
and then he
Is
starts
it
to fight
his
then he's
person?
yeah, so I mean like look, that's a really complicated situation. And if she ends up getting 8 years or serving 8 years, then maybe that is time served because of the nature of it, right? Like she didn't intentionally gun
I
down
think
a
the issue
16-year-old
was that
child,
she pulled the bullshit of like, I
Hey,
thought
guys.
it was my taser.
I got the video right
Had
here.
she gone into it saying like, he had a warrant, an active warrant for brandishing a weapon in a public place, I thought my life was in danger. He wasn't complying because he has a previous weapon charge. I thought there could be a weapon. I pulled my service gun because I thought my life was in danger and my partner's life was in danger. He wasn't complying. I shot him because my life was in danger. And she didn't pull the whole taser. I thought I was shooting him with a taser. It probably would have gone differently.
All right,
She probably wouldn't have been found guilty.
let's play the video. Hold on.
It's hard to admit though when you've already started lying.
Exactly.
As I watch the video and listen to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet.
See, he can't do that. That's his it's bro, fucked up. He fucked up.
All right.
He fucked up by doing that.
He tried to jump back in his vehicle.
And that cost him his life, right? Like he died from this.
That's what it was.
So hey, like the people who are rioting, let's pause right here. Just what I see.
Yeah.
Outside of the legalities of this case, the way the media allowed for these riots and these protests and this behavior is the problem. Like,
Agreed.
I understand that there's a problem going on in society and we need to voice our opinions and make it known that we have a disagreement with the common thing that's officers fucking up. That's a very common thread and it's a very unfortunate one. But riots like this, when one person fucks up and you destroy a city, that's a problem with society. That's not a problem with a single officer who fucked up.
Agreed.
There's a sickness right now in society and nobody wants to talk about it. It's like there's mass hysteria. Like this is chaos. This is like these are people looking for a reason
To commit a crime.
to not even commit a crime, to kind of resort back to a little early animalistic instincts, really bad shit is happening, right? Like if you look at some of the stuff that's happened over the past couple of years at home for a lot of people, society is sick right now, and I don't think media is helping, and I don't think there's something wrong. This is something wrong.
Here's an image.
Yeah. And that's of those night. That's because of
That's
that.
Yeah, I just typed in don't do right. So
I
Yeah,
think
so-
I agree with some of that partially, but I also think there's a flip side of that is that when there are peaceful protests that are formed,
peaceful
that the
keyword,
police
operative
escalate
word.
those peaceful protests.
actually,
I
would say
don't know if
Antifa
that's
actually.
true though. I don't know if that's true because there's footage, right? So you see
Seen it
some.
in DC.
Yeah,
I live right
see-
outside of DC,
Yeah, I mean, I'm in
and
Portland.
there were
I get it. Yeah,
there were rubber bullets shot into a crowd of
for sure, because the
protesters
people aren't
quite
complying.
literally
If
just
the cops
standing.
say get out of the street, get out of the street.
Yeah,
Like
if they're
people
not
aren't
complying,
So
for
that's what happens, right? So like I'm in Portland and motherfuckers out here tried to kill police officers. They tried to barricade them in the building and burn it down.
See, that's unacceptable.
That is, and it's look, Antifa is going to say it was a guy who was a Proud Boy. The Proud Boys are going to say it was a guy that was Antifa. I don't give a fuck what party you're from. That shit is inhumane.
Oh, it's disgusting.
There's look, everybody's tribal. That's a human nature thing, and it can be used to be an advantageous thing, or it can be used to like crumble society, and that's what's happening right now. So we don't have a common enemy outside of America because global times have been more peaceful than they've ever been. Granted, Afghani war, whatever, all the bullshit, still more peaceful than ever than in recorded history. So we as a society, we don't have a common enemy. So we are like, with the freedom that we have. No, the media is creating one. Like it's us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the vaxxed versus unvaxxed. It's the Republicans versus the Democrats. It's the middle class, or I'm sorry, it's the non-existent middle class versus the elite. Us versus them. Blacks versus whites versus browns versus Asians versus smart versus dumb versus manly versus you can't be toxic masculinity anymore if you have big muscles. You know, it's just like everything has a label. Everything is divisive. That's not what America supposed to stand for. Like this vast variance in people is supposed to be celebrated, supposed to be embraced, not used as a tool for dividing us. And it's all dividing us.
It's villainized now.
It's weird. It's like, it's weird. I think it's weird. I see really smart people doing some really weird things, having really weird behavior.
How about
it's like,
weird
man.
things? How about men competing in women's sports?
So we've already been banned from everything, right? So
I don't know. We're gonna find out soon. But hey, Megan, for everybody who don't know, Megan's been on our show.
Megan. Okay.
So Megan's good friends with Justin, right? Her and Justin, they're typically family, right? He's told me Megan is very liberal. But Megan, I would, as a liberal person, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on men competing in women's sports?
No, you got a word.
Transgender?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's right. Transgender.
Yeah. Knowing they can
So
overpower
I
a
don't
woman.
necessarily agree. I don't necessarily agree with that. And I know that Justin has labeled me like this huge liberal, but I think Justin has labeled me that because of some of the arguments that he and I have gotten into have gotten heated because of certain subjects.
Gotcha.
But I'm really not that liberal. I'm quite independent. I have kind of viewpoints on both sides.
Okay.
I have a very open mind. I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that it makes the sport fair for women, naturally born women. It does not make it fair for them to win in something that they've trained from infancy, because they are not biologically as strong as a man is, regardless of whether they've completed the transition into a woman themselves or not. And I 100% support transgendered men and women. I just don't think that Olympic sports or county sports or organized sports.
Hey, you
is
know, I'm
not
100% pro transgender leagues in every and all sports. Like, you want to play football, be a transgender football league, and I think that's great. But I think if you put someone who is a girl who wants to be a boy, and she decides that at 22 years old, and she gets on the field with some dudes who don't know, and you have a 235-pound fucking sack of meat smacking into her at 20 miles an hour, she's gonna die. And I don't think that that's a good thing.
Either that or she's going to sue the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause a
it's
huge
like,
legal battle. And we have all these liabilities that we didn't know we needed to write into rule book.
It's just
Because it's opening doorways that we didn't know we needed to have legalities for. There's tons of things that aren't in place to protect everybody. Also, it's not fair. Like, this is going to be super controversial, and I probably am going to get slack if this were to go viral, but I don't give a fuck. What is it, Jenner there? I don't fucking know. Caitlyn, is that what his name is?
Caitlyn Jenner.
I don't
Oh,
know.
sorry, I dead named an Olympian.
I don't. Bruce, Caitlyn, I don't fucking know.
I don't even know.
Hold
on, I'm gonna.
I don't
find
even
out
know now.
She's a Republican. I'll say she.
Forced.
Jenner,
Whenever they're not in the public
Republican.
eye and they think they need publicity, he's got a dick one day and a pussy the next.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Probably.
She was like the woman of the year that year.
That made me so pissed. And
that pissed me the fuck off as a woman myself, because there were so many other women that did so many wonderful things that year.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing women. Whatever year that was, I'm sure that there's some badass woman at NASA or somewhere in the business world that did something amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got to jump in here real quick.
Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
All right, I got. That's how I'm going to start pushing when I need to butt in.
Do it. Just fucking
All
do
right.
it.
Spicola or Spicola. I don't know how he wants to have his name pronounced, or she is trying to call in, wants to talk with Megan. I don't know where this is going to go.
Is it Spicoli?
Spicoli, yes. I'm going to bring him in. Wants to jump in and come in. So it's funny because originally posted, is it fuck me day? I guess because I didn't allow the call in, but we're going to bring him in. Spicoli. I don't know how we pronounce it, but welcome to the show.
You got it right. Spicoli.
All right, welcome to the show.
I guess y'all don't remember the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, I do. Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, Spicoli was Sean Penn. But that I would be pissed off if I was a lady or woman and some fucking dickhead who is an Olympic javelin thrower or whatever. He's in the track and field department. And then 40 years later, he wants to turn into a woman. What the
Hey,
fuck?
Spicoli, can you hold on 1 second for me, please?
Sure.
Give me 1 second. We're currently broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. At this moment in time, I have a feeling I know where this podcast is going. We have about 45 minutes left on the show. Please join us over on Podbean. At this time, I'm going to kill Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Everybody else, please join us on Podbean. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me kill the feeds to Twitter is going down into.
Trying not to get your accounts locked out again. Huh?
Yeah, I'm trying not to get them. 1 second here. We're gonna
Facebook jail, all the jails, social.
I'm not gonna delete. The post was created on Twitter for this. Delete it. Cancel. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, will it not let me go? Public. Privacy, public. Oh, well, let me end the live. Oh, fuck it. All right, just skate the line thin, please. Try not to get me banned. Go ahead and keep at it. I can't end these
I
live
won't get
feeds.
you banned. So, Megan, it sounded like you were pissed off about that. You know, if men were or transgenders were to enter into women's athletics. I'd be pissed off too if I were lesser of I wasn't as strong and as athletic. And then you have some big fucking 6'3" dude come in, you know, he's shaven, but he's wearing lipstick and has fake tits.
The thing is,
And
I
he
will
can
agree
bench.
that some women are pretty fucking tough and can kick some men's ass. Has anybody ever seen Amy from Lizard Lick?
Dude, I work out with
There
girls
are
who
some
are
badass chicks.
Dude.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting women down at all. I'm just saying what it would be like to go up against somebody that big and that person just wipe you out.
Right. No, I agree.
But
There
then
was the
there's little
MMA
bitty
fight.
guys that will come in and that woman would kick his ass.
Right, I will agree. There
I
was
just
an
think of
MMA
it
fight.
like
Sorry.
Michael Phelps. Like, imagine if Michael Phelps decided that he was transgender, which
Michelle Phelps.
within his right to do so, and he decided he wanted to enter the women's side of Olympic swimming. I just don't think that physically the women in the women's side of Olympic swimming would have any whatsoever chance of beating the female version of Michael Phelps.
No, there wouldn't. He's so tall and lanky and long and muscular.
And that's not putting down women Olympic swimmers. That's just
Not at all.
genetically and physically. I just don't think it's possible.
That's why there are different leagues. That's why there's a men's division. That's why there's a women's division. That's why there's weight class.
Exactly.
It's going to be
It all matters.
you know, or a transgender.
I think there should be a they them division where,
Sure.
you know, transgenders of both female and male compete against one another, or
For
you
sure.
know,
No,
male
throw 'em all
transgenders
in
or
one
female
pot.
transgenders
Fuck that.
compete in their own section.
Yeah.
I just
see,
don't
that's
think
what I'm saying.
it's fair to everybody. People whose parents spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for lessons and training and personal trainers and injuries to heal them properly, to then turn around and their child gets second place because someone who was transgender beat them. I just don't think that's fair.
Right. Correct. So, should it be legal to go transgender?
Yes.
Okay. Should it be legal for them to go into, or say high school sport? My wife, for some reason, watches that show. I Am somebody, I don't know her fucking name, but it's a young kid.
Is it I Am Jess, whatever her name is?
That. She fucking a teenager. I mean, what in the hell is going on? She doesn't know what she wants to be.
And so that's the thing, right? Like there's a lot of people who go through a lot of really confusing phases and stages while growing up. And I think a lot of the people who decide to be one thing or another sometimes make that decision a little too early in life. And
Yeah.
It's being taught too early.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say, make it like you, in order for you to be fully
developed
into the other gender, you got to be at least like 35.
I think people should
There's a lot
be
of
allowed
things that happen
to
too.
make decisions a little earlier than 35. But I think that
I think
know.
once we hit a certain, there is a certain age threshold. I don't think elementary
Okay,
school
what
is
do
not.
you give it?
I definitely don't think elementary school is not where it should be taught. I really don't. I don't think maybe in middle schools when people start realizing certain things. I mean, I will admit I am a brother of a gay brother who's very heavy Republican, is all for Trump and so forth. He realized that he was gay in middle school, but he had a hard time. Now, mind you, I'm in my 40s, so think about the time when I was in high school and how gays looked back then. It was a hell of a lot worse than what we are today.
For sure.
So it took us to tell him, listen, we know you are. It's time to come out and tell the family. It's time to stop acting.
Oh, that's funny. You guys helped him basically like
I had to push him out because
that's good. That's cool. That's support. That's supportive. That's good, right? That's supportive. I think that's rad.
we knew it. He was hiding it because he was afraid of the
decade was
outlaws.
that in, man?
What's that?
What decade was that in?
Oh shit. Let's see. If I'm in my 40s now and I was in high school, I want to say
Like
that would have been the
90s.
90s. Yeah, the 90s.
Late 90s.
Okay.
So that's
Late
back.
90s
Yeah, that's back
or
when
early 90s.
being gay was somewhat still not looked at, even acknowledged, right? Because that's
right.
That's when, like, I think what AIDS started coming out, 80s in the late 80s, right?
Early 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah, that's when AIDS started coming out. So everybody started looking at the gays and they were blaming, all this stuff was coming out. And it was really that, once again, it goes back to what we were talking about early, hatred, right? Yeah. So history tends to repeat itself. We had the situation back when AIDS, then it came up with the gays, and then it came. Excuse me, Facebook. Remember, opinion checkers. Please don't ban me. This is my opinion.
Opinion checkers. For sure.
Opinion checkers. That's right. Opinion checkers, not fact checkers. Opinion checkers. When you listen to me, these are our opinions. But now we're back to the simple fact we're coming up to a hatred again in our times with the mask and the unmask, or the jabs and the unjabs.
Yep.
We're coming back to this hatred again in our world. And we all need to get above this, right? We do, because mankind can cease to exist if we all keep turning our backs on each other. Man will kill each other.
You're damn right.
Men will kill each other.
Yeah.
Wars have been created over shit like this. Maybe not. Well, actually, yeah, it has been on the U.S. soil. Not in a very long time, but wars have been created for shit like this. We all, as Americans,
some countries, if you're gay, they'll kill you.
Yeah, we all need to fucking wake up. We really do need to learn to fucking coexist.
Yeah.
You're very.
How did your parents react to your brother coming out?
Okay, some of that I'm gonna have to kind of keep quiet, because my stepfather, who is my brother's father, who's my mother's not with anymore, would say he had a different reaction, but he's grown since then. So
okay.
I will say my mother's already knew about it. It was just a matter of pushing him, right? It was a matter of getting him to acknowledge, yes, I'm gay. I mean, this is coming from a boy. Matter of fact, Gary, who's also my brother, had a sleepover with us one night and saw some of the stuff. And I think it was more of an outlash from him at that time, so he didn't know how to open up. Smashed my brother in the head with a baseball bat. Also stood on top of.
I did that?
Yeah, he smacked you in the head with a baseball bat.
Oh, I was gonna say, I do not remember hitting a motherfucker in the head with a baseball bat.
And he stood on a dresser. Telling us
your brother.
Yeah. So Gary, the gentleman you're hearing talking as well, is my brother Gary. He's living out in Portland, Oregon. He's my brother from another mother. The other brother we're talking about is my brother from another father. So,
yes, things are complicated around,
right?
That's how we do.
So the box is checked.
Right. the gay brother now. During the sleepover, my brother Gary, it's funny how I can remember tidbits, pieces of shit like this. He was standing on a dresser threatening to commit suicide that night because he was trying to gain attention. Like,
I don't remember this, dude.
I can vaguely remember, but it's one of those things that stick with me because it's one of those weird shit that happened.
How
we were young, man. We were young.
Where does your homosexual brother fit in age wise with y'all? Who's the oldest?
I'm the oldest. So it goes, I'm the oldest, and then Gary's the second. The brother I'm podcasting with, second oldest. And then my brother Christopher would be the youngest. He is in his, I want to say he's just turned in his 30s.
Is that the homosexual dude?
Yes.
All right. He just turned into his 30s?
Yeah, he just turned into his 30s.
Okay.
Now, he's been through shit. Don't get me wrong. He has been through some shit.
Oh, I bet.
So, he's gone through a lot of life tribulations, and he's been very successful now in life, which is amazing. And I think all of us have, really. I mean, if Gary could tell you stories about me from when I lived in California for my short period of time to even before California, I was a punk. I probably could have been, if my life didn't turn around, I'd probably be one of these Antifa little punks on the fucking street. If my life didn't turn around, I was a punk. I wanted to be part of when I was young.
Well, you wouldn't be Antifa, you'd be a Proud Boy.
Yeah, I'd be a Proud Boy. Yeah. Yeah. But he is true. I mean, I wanted to be part of a gang. When I was a teenager and I was a young kid, I wanted to be part of a gang. I fell into the rap culture. I love rap music. Don't get me wrong. I still love rap music.
For what, man? I had to grow up in that.
Like, the thing is, I wanted to be it, like, because at the time, TV.
We were forced to be in the same schools with that all the way from kindergarten. I know it wasn't around then, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Texas, man.
Okay, yeah. There's quite a bit of gangs in Texas, actually.
And to be honest, I was born in I don't know if you ever heard of Galveston Island.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I was born and raised on Galveston Island. So everybody gets thrown together from the ghetto to the rich little spoon in their mouth or in their ass, wherever it goes.
To be honest with you,
get thrown together and you grow up together. So it is a positive, but it's rough, man.
That's how it should be, to be honest with you.
You got to fight your way with fist and knuckles. I'm serious. Or
That's
verbally.
how it should be.
I agree. I think that's how it should be.
Through it. I mean, it's all kinds of ways. But yeah.
I think that's how it should be, though. I grew up in a really wealthy area. I was born in Maine, and I moved to Virginia when I was 6. But I grew up in a very, very wealthy county, Loudoun County, Virginia, which is one of the wealthiest counties in the United States. It is very close to Washington, D.C., in a very wealthy area, and also had some very poor people as well. And we all grew up together, and you learn to help your neighbor, the people who have less than you. You learn to help others, and you understand that you aren't always the one who has the most, but there are people who have less than you. So you kind of all come together and help everybody.
Heard. All right, real quickly, Spicola and Kenny, I did go ahead and mute you guys. If you guys, when you guys are done talking, if you could just mute your mics, because we are getting some reverb on some other people. Kenny was having a reverb coming in. Gary, what you can't see in Podbean is we just had another person come in. Kenny has followed me on TikTok, has followed me from TikTok over to Podbean. So I want to go ahead and welcome Kenny in. Kenny, welcome in. It sounds like you've been listening to the podcast since the beginning. It looks like it anyways. Welcome over to the show. And what do you got to say? Let me unmute Kenny. Hold on. All right, Kenny, you're free to talk. Kenny. I feel like I should have the Cartman right now. God damn it, Kenny, where are you? I can't. I should never do that voice again. Kenny.
You gotta hurt yourself, man.
I probably will hurt myself. I'm getting old. Kenny. All right. I guess Kenny just wants to act like
you.
Yeah, just being. Right. I mean, he tried calling him before and said he was kind of shy.
Oh, that was that guy. Okay.
Yeah, that's Kenny.
Hey, well, if that's cool, if he wants to listen, that's great. Perfect.
Yeah, well, he was listening already. He called in.
Oh.
What's your thoughts on the school system, though, as we try finding another topic here?
What are you asking me?
Do you think that all kids, no matter rich, poor, whatever, should all be going to the same school? Do you think we should have privatized schools?
Yeah. So it's tricky, right? Like because I grew up in Torrance in a part of Los Angeles, and like the city I grew up in had 4 different high schools. And then if you were to go up the hill to Rancho Palos Verdes, they have their own school. And it's like, that's a shitload of rich kids. Right.
Right.
But then if you go down the road a little ways to Gardena or to Carson, Lenox, fucking San Pedro, and you start like mixing and matching those kids, I think it would be an interesting experiment. But it's just like the schools are located at least in that part of the state where I was. It's like you have schools that are in a spot that can handle a certain amount of population from that region, right? So it's like I had 4 high schools that were in Torrance that I went to, because Torrance had like a lot of fucking people and we needed 4 high schools. Otherwise, my graduating class would have been like fucking 5,000 people, and that would have been insane, right? School wouldn't have been able to do it. So it's like I don't know. Maybe if you're in one of those unique areas where like you have a school that's centrally located and it's like you got fucking Watts and then you got Malibu, you know what I mean? You got like hood people and rich people and they kind of
Yeah.
Can you imagine
that would be a
Malibu
dope
with
little
Austin?
spot though. I know.
That's
Like,
what
that-
it was in
That
where
would
I
be
grew
that's a
up.
badass
It was
little spot,
mixing
because then you have
Malibu with you mix the richest of the rich with the poorest of the poor. Everybody went to one high school. There was only one high school on the island.
Right.
but that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
But it was cool, man. They had 2 like campuses. One was about a block apart, and you'd have to walk, between campuses.
What was the difference
Could
between
y'all
the
smoke
campuses?
on campus when y'all went to school?
What was the difference?
Designated
Right.
areas for y'all to smoke?
Nah, Spicolo, what was the differences between your campuses? What Gary was trying to ask you.
Oh, it was just more room. They did not have enough room on the main campus, so they built this smaller campus that was a block away, and that was mostly math and welding and automotive shit.
Okay, so
shit like that.
that's
But when
pretty-
you switch classes though, you could burn one in between. You could burn, smoke your doob.
right. I mean,
in
we didn't have
between, and-
spots where you could smoke your doobs. I mean, there's still smoking cigarettes in high school was like illegal, but we did it anyways. I remember on California campus, we walked outside to go to our lunches. We all used to stick our cigarettes in our soda cans and act like we're taking a drink of soda and smoke our cigarette. That's how we did away with it back then. Gary's looking at me
Well,
like,
they
"What,
had
you fucking did that
spots
shit?"
for us, man. There was all these big, huge areas.
Well,
where you just
when you were
smoked
in
your spot.
when you're in high school,
From
though, how old
from
are you?
14 years old to 8.
Yeah. What year did you graduate, Spicoli?
92.
Okay, so back then, from the 80s to the 90s, that's when doctors were still smoking in the ERs pretty much, and they considered smoking was healthy for you back then. Remember when they thought smoking was
No,
healthy?
it was not healthy.
Didn't they think it was healthy though? Didn't they prescribe?
fuck
Didn't they
y'all.
prescribe?
That was in the 50s. That was like in the
They
30s,
did
40s, and 50s.
you
I think.
a pack of Winston's and say go on home and have a 6-pack of beer.
But
Fuck
they
y'all,
still
that
provided
did
in
not
the
happen.
they still provided in the MREs back then though. I know they used to have a little lucky cigarette in the
It was
MRE.
Luckies or Camels. It was like enjoy the smooth
I
smoke.
wish they
like
would have
Camel
those
cigarettes
are
or some
good
shit.
cigarettes. Right now, if you buy those, man, they're $10 a pack.
Jesus Christ, that's insane. I quit
But,
smoking 5 years ago, but that's insane.
But it was just nuts to me that they would allow a 14-year-old to smoke on campus on the breezeway. And you could sit there smoking cigarettes, or if you were crossing,
Y'all have some weird
north and south.
allowances there in Texas. We were not allowed. I got the only time I ever got
what
in
year
school
did you
suspension.
graduate?
I dropped out of high school in 10th grade because I got pregnant, but I would have
Okay.
graduated in 2013.
Oh my God! Well, we're 20,
Yeah.
20 years difference,
All right.
man.
I got in school suspension one time for hugging someone. One time.
You're
Hugging.
horrible.
Only time I
Oh.
ever got in trouble.
All right. So
Oh God.
we got about
We
30
used to
minutes.
get in trouble for. Go ahead, man. I'm just talking. We get in trouble for fighting, for beating the shit out of somebody. Then you have to go to detention on Saturday.
Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
All right. So we got about 30 minutes left of the podcast. I am now going to pull out both callers, Megan and Spicoli. Thank you for coming into the show. We're going to plan on doing this every time we do the show, bringing people in. Gary and I just going to continue finishing up. No, thank you. We're going to finish up our little podcast here and then end out the show on our 2-hour marker. So Spicoli, Megan, thank you for coming in. And we're going to go ahead and proceed forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right. Let's
And
see
gals.
here. And there we go. He disconnected. Okay. Fantastic. All right.
That was
So
great.
yeah, it was. We kind of got out a little bit more stuff that I didn't think we were really going to pull into our conversation, to be honest with you.
That's cool.
I will be curious when we get close to when we end this and Facebook gives about 24 hours of having their AI go through this video.
Oh, is that what happens? See, it's
Yeah,
AI, so it's they're just gonna look for a word. It's gonna look for something really bizarre.
Gonna find a trigger.
Yeah, and it's so weird. It's not 100% accurate, and that's why I'm terrified of technology.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, throughout this whole podcast, where we are right now, where we might go in within the next 30 minutes, I don't think we've said anything that's been racist, who's talked bad about anybody or anything.
Profanity. We've dropped a couple of F-bombs, but
This is no no.
no, it isn't. You
For a
can't
fucking
say it.
reason. Yeah,
You
I can't
can't
say it.
fucking
No
say
filter
it.
radio for a fucking reason. You know,
Right,
I
right,
created
right.
this, so there is no filter. I've been so scared lately trying to do a live stream on these platforms because of the censorship.
It's bullshit, right?
It is. And censorship is so scary in our country right now on all aspects. And we're seeing it happen everywhere. You're even now getting censored on commenting underneath news channels posts.
What?
I've already had that. Yeah, I've had it happen to me where I've seen something in regards to them talking about the vaccine or whatever. I'm going to say that
Straight up
because
propaganda. It's like if you say so. Amazon. Here we go. Amazon is only allowing Xi Jinping's books to have 5-star reviews because because China doesn't like people giving real reviews because Pooh Bear Xi Jinping doesn't like it. Everything has to be aligned with the party, bro. And that's where we're heading. China owns America. It's start learning Mandarin because your children and your grandchildren are going to speak Mandarin, whether you want them to or not. China is owning everything right now. And it's terrifying.
Quite a bit in production.
Like they've got a lot of problems and their infrastructure is kind of shaky, but I can't say that ours is any better.
Right. But they have a lot more children slaves over there too, don't they?
I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack. Cantor Inez Freedom, fucking that dude, 100% gets all of my fucking respect. That dude is calling out China, doesn't give a shit. So fucking hell yeah. I don't know what basketball team he's on, but he's a fucking G.
No shit. There's actually
fuck
a
China
football player right now that's hitting more of the media again. The same guy there that took the same shit that Joe Rogan did. He's back in the media again.
Okay. What do you take? Oh, yeah. The things
He
we
took
cannot
the whole
say.
cocktail. Yeah. He
Okay.
said that he took the things we can't say on air. I mean,
Yeah.
we could say he took the monoclonal antibodies.
Yeah.
We're able to say that.
The cocktail. He took the cocktail.
Yep. Along with the
COVID cocktail.
Right. So like he's back in the media again, I guess, smashing on shit. So kind of recap some of the stuff that we were talking about. Also, the Let's Go Brandon guy. I guess he's having a hard time finding sponsors now.
That'll change. That's gonna change. That'll all
This is shit.
change. And you know what? Fuck it. He can do his own thing now. Everyone's gonna know who he is. If he starts whatever the fuck he wants to start, it's gonna be big.
Right.
So it doesn't even matter what he wants to do because it's just gonna work out.
Right.
Oh.
What's that?
I just had a random call that came in.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe our conversation got caught on, and now the government's calling you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. We're good. We're good.
It's a shit, Gary. This is an hour and 40 minutes in.
Okay.
Anything you want to bring up?
No, we're
You
good.
think we pretty much covered everything?
We covered enough for stuff. I mean, I'm always going to default to my standard 5 things that I like to talk to about. So,
I mean, actually, I got one more thing we can talk about real quick before we go off. And before we start talking about this, to everybody out there, this is never financial advice. We are nearly just little dabblers into the cryptocurrency and stock market. Use right now, we're really heavy into the OTC stocks,
yes,
as well as crypto.
yes.
Let's talk about this real quick. Because I moved a lot of shit around today. My stocks.
Did you?
I did. I was talking to some people on my Discord.
Okay.
And I moved quite a bit of shit. I'm down $100, but that's because I moved a lot of shit.
Okay. Okay.
I think I've noticed that. Yeah, the fees. And I think when you move stuff too, I've noticed that you'll be down for that day, and the next day is when you should balance everything out. So I'll tell you where I'm at. You tell me where you're at a little bit, whether if you're up or down.
Yeah. What do we got? I'm down, but let's go.
I'm gonna look at my crypto. As you know, I moved everything over to crypto.com. I moved my Shiba over. And then I sold some Shiba and bought some other stuff. So my cryptocurrency right now, let's see. I'm actually down 2.45%. I'm at still not bad. I mean, I'm still up as far as the money that I originally started with. But where are we at for is anything up, or is it all down? 1 second here. So yeah, it looks like I'm red on all my cryptocurrency. All my
way the fuck down.
Your crypto's way.
I mean, I'm looking at. I depends on which wallet I want to look at. I have some wallets I've got great positions, and some I've got some bags that I'm holding. So
right.
Yeah, I've got ETH, I've got Shiba, I've got Loopring, I've got Solana, I've got some Doge, I've got some crypto, I've got some Spell, Cardano. That's pretty much what I got in this wallet, and they're all down right now, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
So
Gemini, I'm doing pretty good. I've got
Gemini,
got Sandbox and Gemini, and I have
that should keep going up actually as the metaverse gets bigger.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I want to get into Sandbox. I want to say what's up to Snoop. So I got Audius. If you are a music person or if you're supporting anything with that platform, it's a good one. I got in on that latest bounce, and I got in pretty low on that one, and I'm happy with my position. And then I got Sandbox, and then I got some Bitcoin.
Nice.
So
my stocks, I'm down $97 today, which ain't too bad.
Oh, stocks. Okay.
So All American Pet Company, from what I've been hearing in the Discord channel as well as a couple of YouTube, is supposed to spike by mid-January. So they're saying buy in now when you can, So I own quite a bit of stocks of that. That one's down. I've sold my BWVI. I'm not sure if you knew that I bought into that, but I sold that. And instead I turned around and bought some COWI stocks.
I was looking in that one.
So I didn't buy too many, I put $4.
Okay.
10,000 shares, $4,
Yeah, there you go.
If it goes up, it goes up. CYAP, Cyber Apps World. I was looking at that today, watching how that moved. It kind of went down a little bit.
Who's involved with that? Do you know who's involved with that?
I don't.
Okay.
I kind of just went by. I told him, said, listen, I want to sell. I told him I wanted to sell some of my AXA and move it around a little bit, so I don't have all my money sitting in AXA. I want to move it around. So I told him, listen, I'm going to take 300 out of AXA. Where can I put 300? This is kind of where they told me to go.
Okay.
All this stuff has motivation to move it over time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my app's trying to tell me it's time to go to sleep. DUTV, which is Digital Utilities Venture. I still have money in AXA. Greater Cannabis. I've already had that. ICOA, I did buy a few more in ICOA today. I suppose that's looking to skyrocket here soon. ILST. That did make some moves today. That wasn't too bad. MJWL, Majestic Wheel Corp, or Magic Wheels Corp. My MJTV, by the way, remember when you and I were talking about that? Dude,
Yeah.
I can't get that fucker off my thing, but they went belly flop.
Oh, really?
I lost all my money, but it's still showing that I have 2,000 shares in it.
How much was 2,000 shares? Like $10 or some shit?
Yeah, it was like low money. It was like $10. I didn't lose much. One World Universe, I still have some in them. I
They were up today.
I think they're gimmick
today.
I want to see them do something, but I'm still believing they're a gimmick. I think these press releases are what's pushing them to keep getting these buys. And then the next morning they drop. And then they're like, oh shit, we got to come up with another press release. Boom, press release comes out. Boom, the stock goes up again.
I mean, I'm up 375 on them, and I sold half my shares last week. I wish I didn't, because I bought AXA and I'm down. I'm up $15 on AXA. I'm way the fuck down on Genius.
Yeah, another one, I guess, is SAPX is another one to look at. 7 Arts Entertainment. I guess they're looking into getting in the metaverse as well.
Everyone has to get into the metaverse.
Everyone's got to be, right?
Don't have an option. Yeah, sand, man. I gotta play in the sandbox. I gotta find a way to get into that little virtual world and
meet up with Snoop.
Say what's up to Snoop.
You know, funny story about Snoop Dogg is my uncle lives down in Florida. I actually rode in the limo with Snoop and got to go to a Patriots game with him.
You did?
Oh, my uncle.
Your uncle.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was in his military uniform. Snoop has a thing for military members.
No shit.
Yeah, he may be the biggest liberal rapper I've ever met in my life, but he's like, you know, he has
the military.
Yeah, sports military, man. He's all about it.
See, I support the military, but I don't like the industrial military complex, which is the military, which is sort of my thing.
Just a little bit, right?
Sort
You
of
respect,
tough,
in other words, you respect the men and women who put on the uniform that go out to fight for our country.
Correct.
What you don't respect is
I respect their sacrifice.
Right.
I respect the sacrifice that they commit to. And without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing.
Exactly.
Allegedly, but I don't know how that long.
I tell you what, though, brother, this has been fucking. I want to do this again. This was a great podcast. We made 2 hours go by, pretty much essentially me and you were just talking, and we brought in callers from. What did we bring in the callers for like 30 minutes?
For 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes.
You know what's funny? My wife stayed in the show the whole time. I never saw my wife leave. We actually kept my wife interested. That's fucking amazing.
Great. Now she just has a lot of ammo to talk more shit.
Right. Hey, at least she knows the Christmas gift she got me sounds fucking amazing.
Sounds great.
It does.
Great. Nice and warm.
Right? Nice and warm. Yeah, she laughed at the what way I got a text message. She goes, I'm busy cleaning, LOL.
Too funny. That shit's hilarious.
Right? All right, brother. I'll go ahead and end this. It has been a pleasure.
Likewise.
And I'm going to play my lovely long ass outro now.
Fucking 8-minute outro, folks. Hang in there.
Fucking know it. Here we go.
You've been listening to No Filter Radio. We live in an awesome country that provides freedom of speech. And this show obviously takes full advantage of that. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. And we hope you had fun along the way too. We know we did. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, get everything you may need at nofilterradio.net. That's nofilterradio.net. Till next time, give 'em hell.
Look at the screen.
Yeah, I see it.